Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Peeps here. I wanted to post a video of my pure Flame Swordsman Deck profile that got third place at my local case tournament. I was pretty impressed with it, actually. It was surprising because there were a lot of good players at that case tournament, and this is a very rogue, mid-range kind of style of deck, so I wasn't anticipating it doing too well, but it honestly outdid my expectations by a lot. It is a really cool strategy. No Infernoble combos here, baby. It is pure summoning the OG, summoning the big guy, the big Ultimate Flame Swordsman, and that's it. So it was really fun, and I actually think it's pretty good. I'm going to keep playing it this format moving into the new meta and taking it to regional stuff like that, because I actually, like I said, I was really impressed with it. So let's show off what I played and talk about why I played it and what the deck does, that kind of stuff. I'll show off the cards, but I will do like some basic combos, talk about why, what changes I'm going to make, and things you can do with the deck with certain hands. So to start off, 3 Fighting Flame Swordsman. This is like the most important card of the deck. It is the card you want to be opening with, searching for, starting your plays with every time. It is a phenomenal card. When it's normal or special, that adds a Flame Swordsman spell trap or a spell trap that mentions Flame Swordsman from your deck to your hand. And then when it's sent to the graveyard, it sends a send a Flame Swordsman or monster that mentions it from your deck or extra deck to the graveyard. So the card you are typically sending with that effect is Salamandra the Flying Flame Dragon. I played 2 of this. This is a mistake. I should have been playing 3. The reason you want to be playing 3 of this is because you kind of do want to open it alongside Fighting Flame Swordsman. So that way what you can do is you can chain block the effect, or the Salamandra effect. Well, let me explain what it does. You can equip it to a Flame Swordsman or monster that mentions it. Or sorry, you can target a warrior monster you control. Equip this card from your hand or graveyard to it as an equip spell. And then when it's sent to the grave, you can search for a Salamandra spell trap. So you want to have this plus this. So you use the effect equipped to this. And then when you use Flame Swords Realm, which is the spell that summons the OG Flame Swordsman, we'll get to that in a bit, you can go Chainlink 1 Salamandra, Chainlink 2 Fighting Flame Swordsman. So you can use the Fighting Flame Swordsman to dump the Fusion Dragon instead of this one, because of course you already have this one. And then you can use this, it'll be chain blocked to search the fusion spell. So I should have been playing 3, and I should not have been playing this card. I played 2 Ogier. The reason I played 2 Ogier is because I wanted extra normal summons, because this is a very new archetype. It is currently lacking engine pieces. So I thought Ogier was like the next best thing. But Ogier on its own is not full combo. You need other pieces of the Flame Swordsman engine in order to have this be a substitute for this. And honestly, I would have just preferred to play more copies of this and cut this and have another slot for non-engine, to be honest. So this card was fine. It does have an effect where you can equip it to a Fire Warrior, and then that card can't be destroyed by card effects. So you can use it to equip to your big Flame Swordsman. The big Flame Swordsman, the Ultimate Flame Swordsman, has an effect where it destroys itself in the end phase if you use the effect to boost in the damage step. So this can save it from that, but honestly, if you're using that effect, you're just winning the game anyway, so you really don't need this. It was redundant. When you open both of these, it's clunky. You don't really add anything to the boards by opening this and this, whereas you do when you open this and this. And even if you open just this, you can normal summon it, link it into Almirage, and then use the effect to search for Salamandra with Chain. And Almirage is a fire, so that makes Salamandra with Chain live. So it's not like a great opening by any means, but it still does something. Whereas Ogier really does a still pretty bad opening if you don't have the rest of the Flame Swordsman pieces. So at the end of the day, basically, I'm going to cut Ogier and put in a third one of this, because it's not terrible to open, especially if you already have your engine rolling. And as you can see, that's it for the monsters. That's it. And I'm going to cut Ogier, so it's going to be even less. It's going to be 6 main deck engine monsters. Can you believe it? That's a beautiful sight. Hardly any normal summons here. So I'm pretty excited about that. The next is 1 Reinforcement of the Army and 3 of one of the best cards I've ever read, Fighting Flame Sword. So this is the archetypal Searcher. It's got 3 effects. So activate one of these effects, and it's a quick play spell, by the way. It says add 1 card from your deck to your hand that mentions Flame Swordsman, except Fighting Flame Sword. Or when an attack is declared involving a Fire Warrior monster you control, you can target 1 card in the field, destroy it. Or when your opponent activates a card or effect that targets Flame Swordsman or a monster that mentions it that you control, negate that effect. You can only activate 1 of these per turn. So those last 2 effects seems like they would never come up. You would typically be using this to search, and most of the time you are using this to search. But those effects are actually pretty relevant. If they're trying to target your ultimate Flame Swordsman, you can have a Fighting Flame Sword in the back to protect it from whatever those effects are, like an Imperm or something like that. So it does come up, and I did use those secondary effects a couple times throughout the tournament. So don't ever forget them. They're good. Then one of the other best cards in the deck here is Flame Swords Realm. So this card is super good. I'm going to explain what it does. This card is a continuous spell. It reads, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects when you normal summon a Fire Warrior monster. Once per turn, you can send 1 monster from your hand or face-up field to the graveyard, special summon 1 Flame Swordsman from your extra deck. It's treated as a fusion. And then once per turn, when a monster declares an attack, that's any monster, either yours or your opponent's, you can target 1 warrior monster you control until the end of this turn. It loses 1,000, but all other monsters you control gain 1,000. So this effect is really good, and this card gets out of hand a lot. Notably, these effects are once per turn per copy, so it is beneficial to have multiples of them. And it targets any warrior, not just a fire warrior or not just any warrior that mentions Flame Swordsman. So you can target something like an SP Little Knight or a Baron to reduce its attack to make your other stuff gain. So also, if you have something like Baron or like SP Little Knight plus OG Flame Swordsman or Ultimate Flame Swordsman, and this on the board, it makes SP Little Knight way harder to out because instead of being a 1600, it becomes a 2600. You know, a lot of people will try to out SP Little Knight by just normal summoning something and not activating any effects and then moving to the battle phase. Well, this prevents them from outing the SP Little Knight that way. So really, really good card. It's one of the main pieces of your 1-card combo to summon Ultimate Flame Swordsman as well. Then I played 2 Salamander Fusion. So this is not a sometimes, not all the time situation. The reason for playing 2 of this is because you want 1 to search on your turn 1 combo, and then you want the second one in deck to be able to summon a second Ultimate Flame Swordsman throughout the game. So it's not good enough to play 3 of, but it definitely, you want 1 for turn 1 and you want 1 for turn 3, right? That's just, that's why you play it that way. And then the last 2 archetypal cards. This is my biggest mistake in deck building, by the way. Besides the Ogiers, this is 1 Flame Swords Dance and 1 Salamander with Chain. Big mistake was that I needed to be playing way more of these. These cards are extremely good. The pure variant of this deck is built, it has so much space for non-engine that you are creating simplified game states all the time with this. So when you have simplified game states and then you have these on the board, these cards are crazy. I'll read Flame Swords Dance first. It says, if a monster is special summon a level 7 or lower fusion monster from your extra deck that is Flame Swordsman or mentions it, then you can change 1 face-up monster on the field to face-down defense position. Couple things about this effect. It is not once per turn. It does not target. So you are summoning something from your extra deck and you are booking a card on the field, which is nuts. And then it has an effective fusion summon from the grave. This one doesn't come up that much. You have to tribute a face-down card during your opponent's battle phase, but it does come up. You can use that effect, and it becomes way more live if you have multiple copies of this card, because this targets to a fire and then books a monster on the field, and you can do that at any time, not just when a monster is special summoned. So this card does not mention Flame Swordsman, so really the only way you're searching this is with the Salamandra main deck monster. But this card's crazy. It targets a fire monster on the field. Equip this card to it as an equip card that gives it 700. Then you can change 1 effect monster on the field to face down defense position. So again, you target a fire monster on the field, but the booking effect does not target. So you can target your opponent's fire monsters to then book something, right? Really good card. And then it has an effective fuse in the grave as well by shuffling back materials. So yeah, these cards were just nuts. I played a going first card in the main deck in this list. But I shouldn't have been playing that, and I should have just been playing multiples of this. Like, this card is definitely going to go to 3. This card is really bad going second, so I might bump it to 2 or maybe keep it at 1. I don't know, but it's gonna get bumped up, and both of these cards are gonna get bumped up for sure because they were nuts all day. Like, the games I was winning throughout the tournament, regardless of what deck my opponent was playing, I was using these trap cards, and those are the cards that were putting me ahead in the game states. So, and then the last piece of engine, I guess, is 3 Pot of Prosperity. Prosperity is really good because really the main starter you're looking for is Fighting Flame Swordsman, and you want to dig for that card. You have 7 copies of it because you have 3 Fighting Flame Swordsman, a Rhoda, and 3 of the Quick Play spell. So Prosperity has a really high chance of getting you there. It just made sense to play this card. So that is 21 engine, which is soon to be 20 engine because I'm going to cut the 2 Ogier's and put in a 3rd copy of the Salamandra. So it's going to be, for this event, I played 21 engine and 19 non-engine, but it's going to be split 20-20 next time. So. But anyway, I played 3 Fenrir. Fenrir was really, really strong, obviously, because it's Fenrir. Like, come on. But also, it has an effect where it puts more monsters in your hand. And when you have Flame Swords Realm plus this, you can special Fenrir, add another Fenrir, use the Swords Realm to send the Fenrir that you added and get an OG Flame Swordsman. And that puts a fire on the board, which turns on your Salamandras and all that kind of stuff. So, simplified game states. Stuff like this is really important when you're constantly slapping a bunch of vanillas on the board. And notably, if you have Flame Swords Realm plus this, Fenrir, you put it in attack position, people will try to go to the battle phase without activating effects to beat over Fenrir. Well, you have Swords Realm, so Swords Realm makes Fenrir 3,400, not just 2,400, right? So that continuous spell was so good throughout the tournament, I swear. So that's the first part for the non-engine, and then I played 3 Ash and 3 Droll. I have so much space for non-engine, I wanted to play cards that were going to create simplified game states and allow me to pressure the opponent on weaker boards, so Droll felt pretty good. Obviously, there are matchups where it's bad, but it felt good to play it regardless. And then I played what I call 7 Valor deck building theory. I played 3 Valor, a Mourner, and 3 Imperm. So the reason I refer to it as 7 Valor theory is any combination of these cards that you open, if you open multiples of any combination of these, they're all going to be live. I could theoretically put another Mourner in here to, up the effect Valor count, but you can't activate multiple Mourners per turn. So there is that small, but there is that chance where you could draw multiples of this card, and then it's not live. So I just decided to play 7. That's still a really high chance of drawing at least 1 or maybe even 2 of these, and they will always be online. Because this deck is so low to the ground, you really want to minimize the chance of clunking on non-engine that you can't use multiples of. I know I played 3 Ash and 3 Droll, and theoretically that does have that problem, but, it's Ash and Droll. I'm going to take that risk with those cards. And then the last piece of non-engine that I played was a weird one. I'm going to have some people that are like, what the heck? But I played 3 Judgment in the main deck. The card was pretty good. I'm not going to sit here and try to say, it's meta-defining. You got to play this card. I played it for a very specific reason. I played it because this deck has a severe weakness to triple tactics talent. And, if they activate talent and take the big guy, the game's pretty much over from there. So I really wanted something that was going to handle that situation. It was just a piece that, obviously if I was going first and I open this, it can deal with, multiple pieces of engine that they have, but I really wanted to keep something in the deck to beat talents. And this was it. This is just the card that I picked. And it was good. There were some games where I won die rolls and opened this card. So I got lucky, and there was like one game where I lost a die roll and opened Judgment, and it was rough to play through there. I think I still ended up winning that game, but it's a risk in deck building to play something like this. I'm going to move this to the side deck moving forward. I think game 1, I just have to take the risk of them having talent and not necessarily building for that. And I'm going to put more of the archetypal traps in. Like 2 of these are going to get cut for the Flame Swords or the Salamander with Chain, and then maybe this will get cut for the Flame Swords dance. You know, maybe I'll play 3 of it even. I don't know. Maybe I'll play 3 of each because those cards were really good. Even going second, those cards are good. But I don't know. This is definitely going to get moved to the side, and then I'll side it in for going first for sure. I did like it though. You know, it certainly wasn't. I didn't feel bad playing it. Then onto the extra deck. So 3 of the OG Flame Swordsman. I gotta say, it is so cool to play a deck in Modern Yu-Gi-Oh! That summons this card and like beats over boss monsters with this card. It was awesome. I felt like I was having like a bat chest nostalgia moment all throughout the day. Summoning OG Flame Swordsman and winning games with it. So you do need to play 3 of it. It comes up a lot. There were 2 games throughout the tournament where I went through all 3 of them by turn 3. So even though it seems ridiculous to have to play 3 of the OG Vanilla Flame Swordsman, it's like super important to have as many copies as you can. Not having to manufacture your game state where you're intentionally like getting Salamander with Chain and then using its fusion effect to shuffle it back just so you have another one. Like you just want 3 of them in extra. So did not feel bad about that. Then I played 2 Ultimate Flame Swordsmen. 2 felt fine. 2 does come up. You want to summon one on your first turn and go for another one on your third turn. Yeah, this at 2 felt pretty good. By the way, for those of you that don't know, I'm going to read what this card does because this is like your main card that you're summoning. So this card says it requires Flame Swordsman and Fighting Flame Dragon. You can target one monster your opponent controls, destroy it, and if you do, inflict 500 to your opponent. This is a quick effect if this card is equipped with an equip card. At the start of the damage step, if this card battles, you can double this card's attack until the end of this turn. But if you do, destroy it during the end phase of this turn. You can only use each effect of Ultimate Flame Swordsman once per turn. So the fusion requirements don't really matter. The only time they matter is for the Salamander with Chain's Grave effect. This gets cheated out by the equip spell, the Salamander fusion. So this card is nuts. It goes to like 8k attack or 10. I think there were 2 games where I got it to 10,400 attack because it had 2 equip spells that gave it 700. And then I used Flame Swords Realm's boost effect on a lowered a different card and boosted this. So it went to 52. And then it can boost itself to 10,400. And if it has this card on it, it's a double attacker. So this requires a dragon monster and a fire warrior monster. You're really summoning this a lot of the time off of the Flame Swords dance. Or you're sending it to the grave with Fighting Flame Swordsman. So what this does is, except during the damage step, it's a quick effect. You can target a warrior fusion you control, equip this card from your hand, your field or graveyard to that monster you control as an equip spell. You only use that once per turn, and then while this card is equipped to a Flame Swordsman or monster that mentions it, the equipped monster gains 700 attack. It can make a second attack during each battle phase. So you get this on your big Ultimate Flame Swordsman, and it attacks multiple times with huge damage. Wow, big numbers, woohoo! So that's it for the fusions. I wanted to play, by the way, I wanted to play 2 of this, because I feel like DD Crow was a really relevant card, and I definitely did get rewarded for that. There were multiple people throughout the tournament playing Crow, and that did DD Crow this, so having a second one was super important. I would not play less than 2. Now, into the links, I played Almirage. Almirage is only in here for the weird hands where you just open the Salamander level 2. You normal the Salamander 2, link off into Almirage, and then search Salamander with Chain, and then Salamander with Chain is live because Almirage is a fire monster, so... obviously it's not a good board, but it's at least something if you draw a not so great hand. Ferocious Flame Swordsman. This card's actually, I threw it in there because I was like, well, it's a Flame Swordsman card, I better play it. But it actually is really nice. When it's destroyed, you summon back Ultimate Flame Swordsman from the grave or Fighting Flame Swordsman, which, gives you another search to be able to play your next turn. I actually like this card a lot. I thought it was pretty good. And then I played SP Little Knight. Notably, this is a warrior, so you can use Flame Swords Realm's attack modifying effect on this card. You can target it, lower it by 1,000, then have the rest of your board gain 1,000. So that did come up one time. And then Sunlight Wolf I played. It's nice to get Ash Blossoms and Fighting Flame Swordsmans back into your hand. Hita, Access Code. Those are the links. Did I summon this? I think I summoned this. I can't remember if I ever summoned this. But I did summon these. I don't think I ever summoned Access Code. I did summon Barone. I definitely played this card. And then Typhon. So Typhon is an amazing card. Everybody knows that Typhon's good. But Typhon has a really neat application in this deck. And I'll show that off right now. Where you can, if you are going second, you can have this and have this. All right, so if you are going second and you open both of these, it's pretty common, happens a lot. You can activate Flame Swordsman into a board, and then normal summon Fighting Flame Swordsman, activate its effect. They can't respond because you have Flame Swordsman up, right? So you activate Fighting Flame Swordsman and add this to your hand. So I'm going second. Why am I adding a trap? Well, once that chain resolves, it's an open game state. You go, you slap Typhon onto the board. You Typhon, use this effect to out their board, and then you set this. So they have to deal with the Typhon, and you have a non-targeting book to keep the Typhon on the board, right? Which also summons something from the extra deck too. So it makes your board way stickier, and you get to help protect that Typhon as you are pushing through their board. We're going second. So this card is like phenomenal in this deck because you have this. So I was super impressed with Typhon. I think I won like 2 games because of Typhon, and there were a couple times where I did the Typhon and with the Flame Swordsman stuff too. So I love Typhon in this deck, and like I said, everybody knows Typhon's good, but it was super cool to do that neat little interaction and still like search for an interruption and make Typhon. Like that was phenomenal. Okay, so for the side deck, I played 3 Crow. Crow was fine. I think Crow is pretty okay moving into the next format. I think it's good against Fire King. I think it's pretty good against Labyrinth because, it hits the furniture, it hits the transaction rollback target, and it's good against Unchained. I played against Unchained at the event, so this came up for sure. I'm not expecting Unchained to be like a meta-defining threat or anything, but it was there for reasons of, beating transaction rollback and whatever. Crow was good against, right? It's good against Purrely too, so it just felt like a card that had a lot of wide meta-defining impact, or not meta-defining, a sort of wide decks that it's good against, right? So this felt fine. I don't know if I would make it Bell. I might make it Bell, but I'm so worried about transaction rollback, you know what I mean? So I'll probably keep it as Crow, just because I don't want to lose to that one stupid card. Then I played 2 copies of Forbidden Droplet. Big mistake in deck building was that this should have been at 3. I'll show the 1-card combo off, but the 1-card combo searches twice. You search 2 times to get to ultimate Flame Swordsman on the board. So Droplet is extremely important for going, normal Fighting Flame Swordsman, adding Swords Realm, hold priority, activate Droplet, send a monster and some other combination of cards, negate their board, and that stops them from being able to activate Droll. And then you do the rest of the combo, you search for the Salamander Fusion, they'll draw you there, but it doesn't matter. You've already gotten the cards in rotation that you need to summon Ultimate Flame Swordsman to be able to swing for big damage. And a lot of the times you're doing that for game because you've used Droplet on monsters that they have. So this card should have been at 3. Big mistake of not playing that. I don't know if I lost games because I didn't play 3 instead of 2, but I'm definitely going to be playing 3 instead of 2 moving forward. That was a big mistake in deck building, is only playing 2 of that. And then 3 Cosmic and a Harpies. Maybe I'll cut the Duster. I don't know. There's going to be a lot of deck building changes when it comes to this list. But Duster was fine. I was worried about Rescue Ace, and I did end up losing to Rescue Ace during the first round. But it was so stupid. It was the first round. My head wasn't in the game. Sun was in my eyes. Little brother was playing my deck, whatever. We got to a super simplified game state in game 1. They normal summoned a Hydrant with 1 card in hand. And I said, dang, if that 1 card in hand is Turbulence, I get super punished by this. But I really want to pop that Dryden. So I use Ultimate Flame Swordsman to pop the Dryden. And then they use the Reborn spell, summon the Hydrant, and search Turbulence. And I was like, well, I don't know why. I told myself this was bad, and I did it anyway. But whatever. Sometimes you just make bad plays, I guess. So anyway, Harpy's Feather Duster is a card that I played, and it was like, whatever, it was there. I don't know, this card feels like super underwhelming. Maybe this will probably get cut for the 3rd Droplet. I just feel like back removal sucks a lot right now. So 1 Salamander Retain and then 2 Flame Swords Dance. Put these in here because these cards, like I said before, are non-once per turn cards, and Swords Dance is much better going first because it's only live when a monster is special summoned. But, I don't know. These aren't not going to get sided anymore. I'm going to bump Salamander with Chain to 3 in the main deck, and I'm going to either move 1 or 2 of these to the main. I want as many of these as possible because they get better when you have multiple copies of them with each other. Like, they just make your board way better. So even though they're trap cards, I feel really confident about playing them in the main deck just because they are really good cards. It's hard to explain, but the gameplay loop of this deck as a pure variant is like, you really want to see these cards as much as possible. Like, they work very well with each other and very well with the archetype because you're summoning stuff out of the extra deck and you're flipping stuff face down, and then you're using this in the battle phase, tributing a monster, summoning your big guy. There's just a lot of stuff that the deck just gets better when you have more of these in your deck. But I don't know. So I'll probably bump these both to 3 in the main deck, which sounds ridiculous because it's a trap card, but I don't know. I'm still very confident in that I think I would have performed even better if I had more of these. I don't know. I'm waffling on about, but I decided to side the rest because I wanted to put them in when I was going first, but they should have just been in my main. And then the last card on my side was a non-negotiable. This card needs to be played in the side deck when you're going first, because you lose so bad to Talons and Thrust and Duster and Lightning Storm and all those kind of cards. So I specifically cited this always for going first, and I'm going to continue doing that because the cards are good. It's anti-spell, baby. Woohoo! Floodgates. Yay! Yippee! All right, so let's talk about combos. What does this deck do? Why does it do it this way? Why did I play Pure? All that kind of stuff. First and foremost, this card. You always want to be opening this. You want to start with this. You want to search this. The way the combo works is you normal this. Activate effect. Add Swords Realm. Activate Swords Realm. Use Swords Realm effect to fusion summon the OG Flame Swordsman. Do like this. That triggers the Fighting Flame Swordsman effect in the grave to dump. Which will be... Where are you? Oh, you're all the way at the top. Salamandra, the Flying Flame Dragon. You use this card's effect to search for a Salamandra spell trap. Which is going to be this. You activate Salamandra Fusion, targeting Flame Swordsman. You use its effect to fuse into the big guy. And then you use Salamandra's graveyard effect to equip to Ultimate Flame Swordsman. So this makes it a quick effect Trident that burns for 5 when it pops a monster. Yes, this is all with one card. So the rest of the cards in your hand could be non-engine, or there could be extra parts of the engine that allow you to search other layers of interruption. So for instance, if I have these two already, what you can do is you can normal this, activate its effect to search Swords Realm, use the effect to equip, and then use Swords Realm to fusion summon. You'll go Chainlink 1, Salamandra, Chainlink 2, Fighting Flame Swordsman, to send Fighting Flame Dragon instead of this, because you already had it. And then this will resolve to search the fusion. And then you'll fuse into the ultimate. And then you have Fighting Flame Dragon in rotation, which you can equip to Ultimate Flame Swordsman. And the Fighting Flame Dragon makes this a double attacker. So it's important to play more copies of this because you do want to open it alongside your 1-card combo so you can get this card in rotation quicker. Or, that's not necessarily an interruption, but that's just one way of how the deck benefits when you have the redundant engine. And that's one way I like to think about this deck, is why it's pretty good, is because not only is the engine powerful and consistent, it can do 1-card combos and that kind of stuff, but it also is redundant, right? So if I was to, pretty common opening with this deck is you have some combination of these. You know, one of these could be the quick play spell or anything like that. Let's say you open these cards. You normal summon Fighting Flame Swordsman and attempt to activate the effect to search. Well, they go, all right, this is a normal summon searcher. Feels like a pretty good thing to effect Veiler or Talent, or not Talents, or Imperm or Ash Blossom or something like that. So I go, okay, they have used my hand trap on this. You know, I've looped them for 1. I will now activate Swords Realm and do the rest of my combo, right? So because the engine is redundant, it preys on hands that have a couple hand traps, and you can just play through them, right? Or If they don't have hand traps, it also preys on low interaction openings too, because you can get extra layers of interruption. So if you already have Swords Realm and they don't have hand traps, you normal summon the Fighting Flame Swordsman, and you don't need to search Swords Realm because you already have it. You can search Flame Swords Dance. So you activate the Flame Swords Realm here, do the rest of your combo, and then you end your turn by also setting Flame Swords Dance. So it's this interesting sort of phenomenon of your hand is resilient to hand traps because the engine is so redundant, but it also adds you extra layers of interruption if your opponent is lacking interaction, right? So that's a really good thing about the deck, which I'm definitely going to be building for, because even if you get hand trapped, like, I want extra copies of these in the main deck, because getting hand trapped and having these to end your end board on is just like so strong. Like, these cards are just so good. So I don't know. I'm super excited. I'm really happy with how the deck performed. I am going to be playing it more at some higher level events throughout the year, and, you know, making adjustments as necessary. I'm super excited that they made this support. I think it's really cool. It really feels like a modernized old style of Yu-Gi-Oh deck, right? And, you know, I've been playing this game for a long time, so it's really cool to see that the deck is good. Like, even though it's so simple, with such a small engine, like, it felt really strong. So I'll be making those adjustments that I talked about, playing it at more events, and I can't wait to talk about it moving forward. So thanks everybody for watching. I will see you next time.